right, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep, they're in. They're here.
Log in to KofiPaisaTV.com and get Spears of the Mossy Volume 1 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Harret Shun Calfunny, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisa, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Harret Shun Calfunny, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Paisa. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on KofiPaisaTV.com.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into Machu Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Peace, Sister Keisha, Dave B, people who may view or watch the stream later. Peace to you. Please, as you come in, like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're actually live. Today we will be discussing women in Yoruba history and mythology. One particular person in mind you may not even be familiar with, but I put up a post on my Facebook page regarding this deity the other day, and it is Women's Month. So in honor and in respect for all the women in the world, this one pretty much for y'all. So hopefully that you will like this show. I know I sound like I'm far away, but hopefully you will like the show, share the show, enjoy the show. And, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to have, not a little fun, we're going to have some fun with this one. I'm not going to do this presentation style. I want to bore people with that. I do have a few pieces of information that I put together, and I am going to share that information with y'all. As you can see, I am fresh from the barbershop and getting my vaccine today. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. My arm is cool right now. It's getting a little heavy. You know what I mean? Because it's stiff. You're supposed to have some soreness at the injection site. I don't see any swelling or anything like that. I also been holding up heavy stuff, so that's cool too. But I see the number one troll is in the building with the biggest forehead of the world. Tika, I see you in the building. Keenan was good. Man, like the show. I got this dude with a perm. His name is Kofi. I got him on the panel. As you can see, his icon. I don't know what he doing, but if you want to speak, man, your mic was open earlier. Go ahead and introduce yourself to your people.
Okay, first of all, I don't have a perm. But peace and Black African power. ETM Hotep, Dua Duau, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatma Walafie, Fatma Riri, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Ilakba, Majuba Iba E Ilakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. Also, I want to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders out there according to African traditions and from an African worldview and an African perspective. Peace to everybody in the chat. Um, take your pens and pads out like we normally say. Sean's going to be dropping something today. I'm interested in what he have today. So again, take out your pens and paper. And again, we greatly appreciate y'all. Please like and share the show with those you think that may appreciate this information that my brother is about to convey.
What's good, Concrete? What's good, Rasta? What up, Cedric? What's good? What's going on, everybody? All right, so first thing first, man. How many people are actually familiar with the deity Marimi Ajasoro? I might be saying her name wrong. Forgive me, all of you who speak the actual language, because I know that you'll watch this video and be like, "You pronounced it wrong. You pronounced it wrong." So, how many people are familiar with that Yoruba deity? If if you're in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar. Put a 2 if you're unfamiliar, or don't put nothing in there if you're unfamiliar. I know there's a small delay, so I kind of let it catch up with itself. I haven't really shared the show many places, so if you did share it on your timeline or whatnot, we appreciate that. All right, so it looked like not too many people are familiar with that particular deity. Before we get started, though, I do want to put some on the screen because I am going to use something for educational purposes, and I want to make sure that this is known. So, copyright disclaimer, of course, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticisms, comment, news reportings, teaching, scholarship, education, and research, right? Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So this is all fair use for us. All right. Again, man, like the show, share the show. Let's see what we can do. We're going to get it in real quick. So first, I want to introduce you to this particular deity, right? And then second, what up, Rashad? What's good, bro? What's up, brothers from the UK? I want to introduce you to the deity, and then we're going to build on what we get out of this. Now, they do have a little music in here and so on and so forth, but just bear with us and bear through it. Hopefully, YouTube is not tripping. This video is only a minute and 30 seconds. All right, so I wanted to run that by y'all real quick. It didn't say pretty much too much anything about her, right? She shows you the statue. So what I want to know in African traditions and customs, how many, not just in African traditions or customs, but how many of you, right, see statues of African deities, female deities in other cultures, or just women in general. Let's just sum it up. It's Women's Month. So what about women in other cultures? How many statues exist, or reverence is paid to women in other cultures? Not African cultures, not African customs, not African traditions. Outside the continent, do you see a wave of female deities that ultimately pave the way for its people, where they can go up to her, and idolize her, worship her, whatever? I know there's a delay, so I'm just waiting to see if anyone could come up with something substantial to deal with that. Now we're going to get into the significance of this system, right? Pure Black said Athena. Let's see. Do they actually idolize Athena? She was a war goddess, right? Female counterpart of Ares. She was a daughter of Zeus. We all know that story through the Greek mythology. No mother bore her. She sprang from Zeus' head, full grown and clothed in armor. But who else? Let's give them that. Lady Liberty. Okay. Okay. So we got Athena, we got Lady Liberty. But do the Greeks Pure Black? Do the Greeks actually worship her, Athena? Like, do they make sacrifices or pay reverence or an honor in her name? Does she have some type of historical? Of course, she has a mythological story, but does she have some type of historical reverence or relevance? I'm sorry, relevance among the Greeks today. What about Lady Liberty? Does Lady Liberty have some type of relevance to Americans today? What up, Sabio? Kofi, can you think of anything? You sure? Sabio?
Now, I don't know any outside of Africa. I mean, there are very few with statues, but far as doing rituals or ritualistic things pertaining to a Pacific woman, which is very rare in other cultures. I don't see them pouring out libations or doing any type of festival or any type of sacrifice or any type of ritualistic thing for this particular statue or whatever woman that they may deify or honor.
Okay. Peace, Trick. I see you in the track, Trick Dear. Sorry, I miss you, Ramon. Also, peace to Pierre and Cedric. Excuse me. Everything was good, bro. Goddess Columbia, maybe. Okay. So we see like sacrifices made, tributes paid. Sapphire, hey sister. How you doing? What up, Kent? What's good, bro? I mean, they say blind, poor, destitute, etc. The lady with all them arms in India. Yeah, yeah. All right. So what I'm getting at is that it's very rare outside of African traditions and customs that you see women take on a prominent role in the historical and mythological perspectives of their people. So let's deal with a few things now. This is merely just a critique. Yeah, the guy that we said outside, so we said outside Africa. You go right look, he go right to Africa. Boom. All right, so let's look at this from two perspectives. All right, we're gonna look at women in history and mythology, but we're looking in particular to Marimi Ajasoro. Okay, you just seen a video. If you're just coming in, I just showed a video where she has her statue is in this city, and she has a long walkway, plants alongside it, and she has something in her hand that's unique. But I want to read you the story that was written 2 years ago from a Nigerian named Solo Sanusi. And then we're going to go to a Nigerian, Oyeranke Olajubu. And we're going to see something. Now, there's some more information out there regarding the story. However, I wanted to be able to have a conversation with y'all about it, right? So instead of me putting the presentation together and doing all the other stuff, I want y'all to walk with me on this. Now, again, I did post this on social media, so I am back again just to kind of reiterate it. Okay, especially during Women's Month, it's y'all month, so we're idolizing and paying y'all reverence. So here's the story, right? Now, the story of Ile Ife's unforgettable female legend, Morimi Ajasoro. Now, some women are so powerful than the men folks, and they perform wonders that dwarfs that of men in Yoruba land. There is no how the story of Ile Ife will be told without the mention of the historic deed of a woman called Morimi, who did not allow the kingdom to have become history by now. Now, where men failed to secure Ife from the claws of the enemies, Morimi succeeded using her beauty and also sacrificing her only begotten son. Now, Olorogbo as sacrificed so that her people will not perish. Now, Queen Morimi was said to be the wife of King Orimiyan of Ife. She was said to be beautiful and a virtuous woman. So here she is, a beautiful and virtuous woman. As we seen from the video, she bores all the cultural identities of a Yoruba deity, even to the bells on her ankles. All right, so Ife people was at the time of Morimi and Orimiyan faced with constant raids and enslavement of its people from a joining tribe known as the Forest people, Igbo people, but not Igbo of the eastern part of Nigeria. The Igbo people were said to appear in Ife people as weird on battlefield that they were thought to be aliens. They believed they were sent by the gods to punish them for some evil deeds they might have committed. Sacrifices were offered to the gods in vain as an invasion persisted and the land was thrown into a state of panic. As a mother of Ife nation, Morimi could no longer stand the invasion of her people by the aliens, so she sought the face of her river god and asked for guidance on how to end the raid and conquer the aliens. Everybody should know who the river gods is in Yoruba, which ones we need to know. So she made a vow by the water that if she was able to conquer the aliens, she will offer the most expensive sacrifice she could to the river god, Esemarin. Now, so we learned earlier in the story that she sacrificed her son. So now we know that she went to the river and we know who she made the sacrifice to, the river god. And so here we are. All right. Everybody should be up to speed. Now, what did she do? She allowed herself to be captured by her enemies, relying on her beauty to give her a soft landing. When taken to the kingdom, she found favor in the sight of the king, who took her in as his wife. Using her woman power, she was able to extort the truth about the so-called aliens from her husband, who told her that they are normal human beings, only that that they only wear strange mantlets of grass and bamboo fiber when they are going to the battlefield to make them look weird. She also gathered that because they are wrapped in dried grasses, they do not go near naked fire as could burn to their death if they do. So as soon as she felt she had gathered enough secrets of the alien warriors, she found her way back to her homestead and relayed the secret to her people. On the next visit of the aliens to Ife, they lighted a local torch and told by Morimi, and they were able to defeat their greatest enemies. Okay, so they figured out their weakness, plotted and strategized, defeated the enemy. Now, after Ife conquest of the aliens from Igbo, which some said is Ugbo in the Ondo state, Morimi proceeded to the river to fulfill her vow of a huge sacrifice. She went to the river with fowls, sheep, and bullocks, but the god rejected and demanded her son. Left with no other option, Morimi gave out her only son as a sacrifice. To immortalize Morimi for a great deed, the Ide festival is held yearly to celebrate her and her sacrifice for the people. Many monuments and buildings were named after her, like the female hostels in the University of Lagos and Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife in Osun State. All right. So they reported in 2017 that the present Oni of Ife, Oba Atin Adeyaye, I always miss his name, Ogunwusi, takes immortalization of Morimi a notch higher with the annual Queen Morimi beauty pageant. He also erected a statue of her very close to Enuru Palace. The Liberty statue bearing the symbolic torch, that's what's in her hands, used to defeat the riders, is said to be the tallest in Nigeria and fourth tallest in Africa. So she has the tallest, she's the tallest statue in Nigeria, fourth tallest in all of Africa. It stands as a towering 42 feet and is beauty to behold. They gathered that Morimi Liberty statue was said to be erected in the exact compound Morimi lived while alive. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So this is a little video probably going into that I won't play. So that's part of the story right there that I wanted to get into. So before I even transition to move on, what y'all think about that story? It was short, but what y'all think about it? She sacrificed her only child for the betterment of her people. She set herself up to be caught so that she can learn the ways of her enemy from the king by using her beauty and her charm. And once she got enough intel, she went back and told her people how to defeat the slave raiders. Once they learn how to defeat their slave raiders, they will continue to gain their, pretty much their independence of themselves and live in peace, pretty much. But it came with a hefty price. So what y'all think? What you think about that, Kofi? Before I move on. Are you cooking? Okay. I got you. All right, so I'm gonna move on. Look like y'all still thinking about it. So let's go a little bit step further. Now, I would like to examine women. This is from Olajubu's book. It's called Women in the Yoruba Religious Sphere. It's a PDF. Of course, I share it with you. I don't really care. Put this on the screen. Maybe everybody can see. Yeah. If you got an iPad or a laptop, you can see it clearly. I don't know about cell phones. It might come up a little bit different. I see some people in the chat says she is more heart. Yeah, she has more heart. Okay. She should definitely be praised. A true queen, correct? Yep. I see the sisters in the building, showing love and honor. So let's move a little further with this show. Olajubu says, I would like to examine women and gender in Yoruba mythology and also discuss their status in history. I should state from the outset that myth and history are not necessarily antithetical. In accordance with the usage in the history of religions, I consider myths to be those sacred stories believed to be true by people who hold on to them. By history, I mean chronological accounts collected either through oral tradition or archival materials. Now, oral literatures constitute the major sources of Yoruba history prior to colonial contact. Emphasis to this effect are evident in early records concerning the Yoruba. History confirms that women played important roles in traditional Yoruba society. Women had well-defined and recognized roles in all spheres of human endeavor, and the emphasis was a gender complementary relations. Now, moreover, there is much evidence to show that women in traditional Yoruba culture dominated certain areas of social life. The Yoruba women in history was relatively independent in the mindset and status. As a child, her training guided her toward designated society roles, which included motherhood, wifely duties, and an occupation, trading pottery or clothes dyeing. She was tutored in these areas in order for her to attain self-fulfillment. She was required to leave her natal compound to preside with her husband's family at marriage. She assisted her husband on the farm, kept some domesticated birds, and may have engaged in food processing and trading. The Yoruba society, being a liberal one, has policies that enabled individuals to pursue their goals and fulfill their aspirations, as is evinced by the economic pursuit of the Yoruba women. She was economically independent of her husband and could dispose of her resources at will. Every Yoruba woman worked and engaged in some economic ventures to augment the family's income. Where both male and female traded, there was usually a gender bifurcation along commodity lines. Yoruba men are rarely found as vendors of food items, nor do they engage in daily provisions retailing for those areas were considered women's domains. In theory, the man was expected to provide for the needs of the family members. Polygamous marriages, however, made this impractical. Now, as a result, each mother had to care for her children as best as she could, supplementing whatever the father could make available. History, therefore, supports the position that women were participants and the contributors to the economy of Yoruba society. Now, Yoruba social identities remain fundamentally relational, changing situational with seniority as the crucial determinant of ranking. Now, the social roles of the Yoruba women were therefore informed to a large extent by her relationship with others in society. Such social roles included mother, wife, and daughter. Privileges and obligations within the social framework, i.e., the family, attended these identities. Social roles such as motherhood bestowed an enhanced status on a woman. In addition, the daughter and the wife roles were mediated by the complex configurations of gender relations, as we shall discover shortly during our discussion of women in family and lineage traditions. Now, in the religious space, women function as priestesses, as Vaderi maids, thereby constituting a bridge between mortals and the supreme being. I want to run that back. In the religious space, women function as priestesses and Vaderi maids, thereby constituting a bridge between mortals and supreme beings. This is why y'all so spooky. Women were also in custody of the, I'm just playing. Women were also in custody of the ritual power that sustained the Yoruba community. Now, there were female professionals who attended the medical needs of people, especially gynecology and pediatrics. Women also constituted the sustaining factor of the various religious cults. Consequently, the onus of daily worship and care of the sacred places of worship, as well as of the sacred elements of worship, depended on them. In addition, the well-being of all members of the family usually rested the religious viability of the mother in Yoruba society. Women were active participants on the political scene through their membership in the political councils. These councils usually had offices for women leaders who supervised the activity of women in their domains and also represented other women on the traditional governing councils. Example of these were the offices of the Ayalode and the Ayaloja. Sometimes women had a separate council, as is the case among the Ondo people, where the Laboon, referred to as Oba Benrin, woman king, could rule. Worthy of special mention in this regard in the ability of women to dethrone a bad ruler throughout protest processions. In extreme cases, this is done in the semi-nude posture, thereby reinforcing the connection between the female procreative abilities and the sanctity of the life. Now, the example of the female ruler of Oyo, Alafin, or Rompoto, is worthy of mention here. The institution of regency, whereby a daughter of the dead king is installed as a transition ruler pending the installment of a new king, also reflects Yoruba gender perceptions. Yoruba political structures are believed to rest on certain pillars composed and sustained by mystical principles. These principles are within the custody of a woman. These ritual powers used to maintain harmony in the society. Hence, while men in principle held political offices and authority, women controlled the ritual base that made political rule possible. It's about to get interesting here in just a minute. Now, myth legitimates social institutions and practices by their references to ancient presidents. According to Iliad, myth has its characteristics of authoritative voice in declaring what is real, what is true, and what is sacred. Myths are sacred stories that offer meaning and explanation for incidents that history could not account for, thereby obliterating any gap in people's experiences of the cosmos. I'm going to say that again because Corey in the chat. Myths are sacred stories that offer meaning and explanation for incidents that history could not account for, thereby obliterating any gap in people's experiences of the cosmos. Myth fosters cohesion, exhibiting intrinsic values, which Malawski described as powerful character, usually loaded with the complexities. Myth also provides meaning for people's living experiences. Yoruba myths deal primarily with the origin of the world, cosmogony, and the origin of social and ritual categories, cosmology. As noted by Sproul, the most basic answers to life questions are located in creation myths. Myth is an integral part of Yoruba religion, and it is on its base that all other constructs within the religion depend. Myths exert great influence on the people's perception of life. This influence may be observed in the process of the people's social engineering. The presentation of gender and power relations in these myths, for example, propounds great influence on the images and roles of women in the socio-cultural setting. They reflect change and continuity and thus serve as normative expressions of the Yoruba existential conditions. Bayer classifies Yoruba myth into four types: myths of religious knowledge, from which the information about the Yoruba worldview may be derived; folk tales, in which protagonists bear the names of gods; myths about gods that have historical rather than religious functions; and lastly, the Ife oracular verses. These categories definitely overlap, as may be observed in the composition of the Ife corpus. Some of these myths exhibit influences and references to Islam and other modernist tendencies. Nonetheless, a bulk of the first category identified by Bayer is so located in the Ife or oracular verses, to which we now turn. So we finna get into this one here, and I'm gonna read the translation and not all this so I don't mess it up. The Ife corpus provided us with some mythological sources that relate to women. According to one of these myths, at the beginning of time, Olodumare, the supreme being, gave women power over men and encouraged the interdependence of male and female in the world. The Odu, Ose Meiji, of the Ife corpus says, hold on, let me grab my other source, the Holy Odu by Awo Fat Egbe Fatumbi Fasola. And let me see if I can find Odu Osa Meiji. Osu OSA Meji. I don't know if Kofi got that. I don't even know if Kofi on here. Also Ogbe, but I need Meji. One second, y'all. Now I'm doing this because you need to know this stuff. But let me go ahead and give you this, and then we can turn around and we can go with this other little lane and see if that Odu is in there. I was gonna ask Kofi if he was on the panel, if he could open up his book. Osameji is on 144. But since he ain't right here, I'll deal with it in just a second. So I'm gonna give you two versions of Osameji, which is in the Ife corpus. And here's the translation. When they were coming to the earth, the women had no powers from Odula Mare. Women asked themselves as to what powers they had to do all that they wanted to do on earth. Men were maltreating the women. Men enslaved them and treated them harshly. Women returned to Olajubu and ported the case. Olajubu was moved with compassion. Olajubu promised them a power greater than that of men. Olajubu gave women power over men. Women were instructed not to use the power indiscriminately. Olajubu endowed women with power of Ajay. Now, before I go any further, I want to also go into the Holy Odu and just give you a little bit more expression. Let me turn my camera on real quick for those of you who might be interested in this book. You're gonna have to get with Brother Ben if you really want to get with that part of it and kind of go from there. Okay, so Kofi fell off on me. All right, so this book right here, this is a unique book, read it a long time ago, but I'm going to page 144, which is Osameji. You see it? It's exactly what we just read. So I'm gonna give you a different perspective of this work right here. Now it says Osameji is a sign sacred to Inyame and the female powers Ajay. It also speaks of the many riches, fertility, as well as the descent of the spiritual beings to Aye. It is a sign speaking about the chaotic forces external to self, rather than from within, as in the case of Owanrin Meiji. The principal Ari of this Odu is financial success and abundance in general. Oya is born in Osemeji. So then this Odu speaks of ancestors and the awesome power of the mothers. The power of women is Osameji, is the gateway to the land of the ancestors. Oya is the Orisha of witchcraft, is the word that's being used here. She is a shapeshifter, the buffalo woman who can be the hunted or the hunter. This Odu is heavy with witchcraft and must be handled with caution. This Odu speaks to rapid change. Osa creates radical change in one's circumstances. The feminine principle in Ifa is the awesome power to create and destroy. In order to create the new you, we got to destroy the old you. Osa Meiji, being the manifestation of sudden radical change, must be respected, whereas Owen is the chaos within. Osa relates to chaos brought from outside influences. Oya as the tornado, the hurricane, the winds of change that destroy a particular form so that a new one can be created. She cleanses and transforms. Osa from the Elosun, the O-Uso, means spirit of the lagoon. It is a place of tranquility and stillness like the center of the hurricane. It suggests the need to find the calm center in the chaos. In traditional Ifa, the lagoon is one place used for spiritual bath. It is used to wash away the past negativity. In the case, the bath is needed because they are running away from problems without dealing with them directly. Osameji also has the meaning runaway. The translation here of runaway is reference to the need to stop avoiding a problem. All right. In Iri, Osa brings change that lead to abundance. In EB, the client is running from responsibility or resistance to change, a lack of courage and steadfastness leading to illness. Many times the client needs spiritual help against bad dreams, Ojagun, witches, or dark deceased interfering with the client's sleep. Now, I'm gonna get a little technical here. And I'm not going to read too much more of it, because there's more. But Igbo to Inyami, who are always close to the person, as well as the Igun, might be needed. Ifa might be talking about enemies. In this case, Igbo to Sango for strength. This Odu portends much Iri. This person will not want for money. Igbo to Oya at the river, including river bath, and Igbo to Ori for the Iri to manifest. Uh, those incarnated under this Odu tend to be hard to control and act sometimes without restraint. They have difficulty applying themselves fully to any task or job. Igbo to Esu at regular intervals to fight the tendency. They tend to not eat well, skipping meals, etc. They tend to travel a lot. They are good managers because they don't take risks. This Odu portends relationship problems. This person will receive the Iri by sticking close to the Ifa and following his advice. If you heard me saying Igbo, that's pretty much like the sacrifice. So people will emulate this person. This person is good at conflict resolution and PR work. Ifa predicts success, but the client must change conceited, arrogant attitude and learn humility. If experiencing hard times, Igbo to Ifa of plenty of bananas. This Odu employs us to treat women with respect. It was then that Olarun gave women the power and the authority so that anything men wish to do, they could not dare to do it successfully without women. So that last part should sum up that for you. Now I'm gonna come to the 16 mythical truths. Told y'all we're gonna have a little fun. Oh man, y'all really can't see it because it's blurred or whatever. Yeah, I don't know why it's looking like it. Anyway, this is 16, I guess because it's lime green, yeah. So it's 16 mythical stories of Ifa. And we're looking for Osameji. We just read it out of one. I'm trying to see if it's in here too. Because in here, this gonna give you the 16 main stories. But I don't think it's gonna be in here. On the wrong, see, y'all thought people be play pimping, but we actually go to the actual sources, deal with the work. But nah, it's not in there, so I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Now back to the story at hand. Sharing my screen. He said that made me uncomfortable. Cool craze. All right, so again, now I'm gonna read the story, the translation of the story again. I just gave you what basically the Odu means, and we'll see if it can make more sense to you now. When they were coming to Earth, the women had no powers from Oladumare. Women asked themselves as to what powers they had to do all they wanted to do on Earth. Men were maltreating the women. Men enslaved them and treated them harshly. Women returned to Oladumare and reported the case. Oladumare was moved with compassion. Oladumare promised them a power greater than that of men. Oladumare gave women power over men. Women were instructed not to use the power indiscriminately. Oladumare endowed women with the power of Ajay. Most people try to translate that as witches and all that other stuff, but it ain't. Some of y'all might say the power of the P, but I'm going to leave it right there. So, another myth recorded, the Odu Ose Tura narrates how Osun was excluded by the other 16 Remole, the primordial deities, which Oladumare, supreme being sent to the earth on account of her being a female. Osun reacted by gathering onto herself the women Esale, or would you say earth, and formed the Ayemi cult. The consequences of this was total chaos, which engulfed the whole earth. The male Irumula went back to Oladumare with a report of these adverse happenings. Oladumare inquired about the female member of the group and was told of her exclusion by the male Arumale. Now, y'all should remember this because this is simple, but he just using the word that's throwing me off right here. But Oladumare advised them to go back and make peace with Osun, which they did. This story has been told numerous of times when dealing with Yoruba culture. Thereafter, peace and normalcy returned to Asele. Now, these myths pursue two distinct but closely related motifs, which are adequately represented in the social lives of the people. The Odu Osameji posits that the power given to women by Olodumare, i.e., Ajay, is superior to the powers given to men. The Odu Ose Ture does not deny this, but rather lays emphasis on the desire for gender complementary. Now, thus, it seeks to reinforce the complementary roles and balance structures in the peoples of social interactions. The first motif, which presents women as having superpowers to those of men, is to be located in the mystic and esoteric practices of female cults. These cults act as custodians of the power that regulates and sustains all other aspects of the society's cosmic experience, be it economic, governance, medicinal, or social. These cults could be benevolent or malevolent, depending on circumstances. Pragmatically, therefore, it would appear that women do possess powers higher than those of men among the people. Worthy of mention, however, is the prevailing practice of gender-independent interdependence among the Yoruba. Consequently, the supposed superpowers of women are mediated by other social structures. For example, men occupy more official positions in the political sphere as compared to women, who serve in only a few political offices. The ritual based on which the political structure rests and form which it draws its sustenance, however, is secured by women, female principles. Now, aside from the Ife corpus, there are other myths that provide us with information on women's roles in Yoruba society. Here we go. An oral tradition from Ile Ife provides us with the story of Morimi Ajansoro. We're back to her again. She's a heroine of Ile Ife. Now, this one might read a little bit different than the last, but this should sum it up pretty good. According to this account, Morimi, an indigene of Ile Ife, volunteered to be raided as a slave by the Igbo. Now, a group that constantly attacked the Ile Ife people. This she did to discover the secrets of the enemy's success each time they attacked the Ile Ife people. She sought spiritual assistance from the Esameru, the river goddess, and a pact was made between them. Morimi would succeed, but on attaining victory must sacrifice her son, Olajubu. Now Morimi agreed and proceeded with her plans. She was captured with other slaves at the next attack of the Igbo people. The Igbo king married her, for she was a beautiful woman. It was while at the palace that Morimi discovered that the Igbo costume that they usually scared the Ile Ife people into retreat and surrender was nothing but baboon and grass covering. She hurried back home and shared the news, and the Igbo were utterly defeated on their next raid. Morimi thereafter sacrificed her son to the Sarun river goddess as agreed. This spectacular gesture is today remembered in Ile Ife annually during the Ide festival. The festival, which spans 7 days, is usually solemn, with some clapping but no drumming. A wrestling match symbolizing the struggle of the Igbo and the Ile Ife people is enacted in front of the palace of Oni, the king of Ile Ife. On the 7th day, a goat is sacrificed to carry away the ills of the city. This goat represents Olajubu and his sacrifice for the well-being of society. So they sacrifice the goat in honor of the sun, right? He is a representation of the goat, or the other way around. The goat represents him. So we got to come back to it because I got some questions for my brother now regarding this. Now, we may posit then that an aggregate portrait of the women in Yoruba history and myth presents us with an individual who was economically independent, socially active, and politically enthusiastic. Moreover, power and gender relations, as presented by these sources, confirm that women were not passive or oppressed, but vibrant and powerful. Yoruba myths clearly acknowledge Olodumare as the source of women's power in the society. So to tie all that together, man, this is Women's Month. I wanted to show some appreciation to the women, even though you feel like the men are trying to use you. you got all the power. You've always had all the power at the end of the day. And Corey. Yeah, buddy. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But from a mythological and a historical perspective, what do y'all think about, I know some people already said some stuff about Marimi, but what do y'all think about the perspective of the Yoruba culturally when they're talking about, um, you know, empowering women, uplifting the women, deifying the women, bestowing on them such powers that are greater than men. And then at the same time, she makes this huge sacrifice for her people, for the betterment of her people to move them forward, even if it came at the own expense of either herself or her son. So really two sacrifices was made. She sacrificed herself to learn, and then she sacrificed her son to protect her people. And in remembrance of her son, every year at the Ide festival, a goat is sacrificed in his honor. What do y'all think about that? Odu 0420 says, "Giveth thou stimmy to Sutek." Yeah, yep. I think it says a lot, and we need to respect that. That's a fact. What y'all? What else? I know scripture ain't the only one with rich. What else? What about anybody else? I think it just proves that women love much harder than men. Absolutely, Cora. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say something about how I look at the mythological stories. Oh yeah, let me see, Corey. Women value life and everything it encompasses in a different way than men. That's facts. Makes me want to honor women more for real. Yeah, yeah. So when I read these stories, man, what I get from the Yoruba is a sense of bestowing respect where it's properly due, right? Um, not only respect but appreciation. Not only appreciation but remembrance. Because everybody has been in either a relationship or a situation where it was a female that actually helped pull you through. And then there might have, you know what I mean? Depending on that situation and that time, she actually bailed you out or pulled you through something. And it just took her giving you that strength, just like that meme that goes around where the dude is on his knees and he's on his knees and he's looking weak, and the woman saying, get off your knees, I got you. Pretty much. That's how I look at, like, stories like these. Like, the Yoruba use their storytelling in a way to have a deeper meaning and purpose for its people. Whereas if we looked at other traditions outside the continent, if not just the Yoruba, we see this all in African mythology. But when we go outside of that and we start getting into some of these other things, are we really trying to attach ourselves to these other cultural perspectives that don't have that same meaning? No, what you talking about? Why are you throwing up the peace sign? What's that about? Mm. But yeah, so that's what I get from that album. My brother got his haircut. But yeah, that's what we got on. That's what we got on that. I know. You wanna fight? So that's pretty much what I want to do, man. I want to spend an hour, man, and paying reverence to the first supreme deity. I put the link in the chat for anybody want to come on and speak on what we just actually went through. or if you got some type of question, a line of question, or anything like that. By the way, Corey, Concrete, you know your boy got that Moderna around 9 o'clock this morning. You feel me? You feel me? And they had like a mile-long line wrapped around around the building, bro. It was crazy. I had to go 45 minutes to get that Moderna. I didn't want to get that Pfizer. I know you got stock in it. That's why I didn't get it. So I dropped the link in there, man. What y'all doing? Yo, man, I want to beat this dude up so bad. I'm not even finna post this crap. He be misusing sources all day long, man. That dude, Lee Taylor, trash, yo. He just misrepresent the source. Just be misusing source. What up, Concrete? You on mute. If you're talking, you still on mute.
My bad. I'm still on mute. My bad.
Yeah.
You got that Moderna. You got that Moderna. Unc made his appointment today. He got his tomorrow. He getting his tomorrow.
Yeah, what he said. He in the line. He in line for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I would have had my shot a little earlier, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking about, my high blood pressure at the time.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, you got to be well hydrated and have something to eat. I recommend you eat good and you.
I fast on Fridays.
Huh?
I fast on Fridays.
Oh, do you? Oh man, and you know what I've been well, it might be a little pseudo or whatever because I don't have no data to back this up. But so my neighbors, I got a lot of elderly neighbors, and I got my immediate next door neighbors. They not elderly, but they just got eligible to get the vaccine last week. It's like 50 and over here in Indiana now. So they got the Pfizer, and then the people across the street from me, they got the Pfizer too. But most of the people that's in my neighborhood, they all got the Moderna. Now, what I have observed is the people who got the Moderna, which I got the Moderna myself, have had more severe like side effects. The fatigue and the nauseation and the soreness of the arm is more severe than the Pfizer one. You know what I'm saying? So I was telling Unc earlier, I'm like, man, maybe that Moderna might be a stronger dose than that the Pfizer one or whatever. Yeah, I see you. Yeah. But yeah, that everybody who had that Moderna, they've been down for about a day and a half. Everybody that I know that had the Pfizer, they may be a little down for like a half a day, but they don't be down like the people who got the Moderna.
I'm strong. I ain't nothing. You know, so I got it at 9:15.
That's the first dose. I'm not talking about that first dose. That first dose ain't nothing. That first dose don't prove nothing.
There I go right there. There I go. You know what I'm saying? I'm hit. I'm hit.
That first dose don't prove
nothing. Real talk. I can feel it as time go along during the day, get a little heavy. You know what I'm saying? The injection site get a little heavy. So I keep my shoulders moving and, you know what I'm saying, rotating and all that because that helped me defeat the little stiffness. Because that's really what it is for me.
Yeah.
I mean, some people they may say it feel like pain at the injection site, but it's just stiffness for me. You ain't been jabbed right there, man. Come on, you gonna have some type of. But I ain't got nothing. But I will say this on my way driving home. I feel like something coming into my chest. I was like, okay. We flowing. Nah, man, I feel good right now, man.
Yeah. It don't really affect.
Lucia said she had absolutely no side effects.
Who was that?
Nusha,
Oh.
you just Corey. It was just you, bro. You
It
know what
was
I'm saying? Your herbal medication, man.
yeah.
You couldn't put
Hey,
down herbal
I
medication.
got an older cousin, my older girl cousin, right? When we was little, she used to give me a frog in my arm. I don't know if you know what a frog is, but
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
but that's what it felt like to me. Like my cousin gave me a frog in my arm.
Yeah,
You know
I can feel. Yep. Yeah.
what I'm saying?
As a matter of fact, that's a good one.
Yeah, it took me right back to that time. You know what I'm saying? It just reminded me of that because she was always bigger than, she was older so she was bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She used to bully me and shit. But yeah, it just made me think about that. Um,
That's a good one though. A frog, yeah.
it felt just like that, man. It felt just like that. But like I said, that first dose of that Moderna, it ain't that bad. It ain't all that bad. But that second dose, bro, woo-wee.
I guess that's what I'm waiting on. Then I got
Yeah.
April. I got a couple. I got 4 weeks.
Yeah, that second though, boy, you're gonna have to sit down on that one. Believe me, you're gonna have
Yeah,
to
I've been
sit
running.
down.
I've been ripping and running and all that, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, see, on that first dose, I went back to work. I actually got my shot, and then I went back to work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if just by me going back to work, it helped the soreness out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your adrenaline took you through.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if that's had something to do with it, but I just know that second dose, man, I was put me
Yeah,
down.
the next time I get it though is gonna be on my off day. So I'm gonna try to go as early as I can and get it on out the way so I can just relax the rest of the day. Because the next day after that, I'm gonna end up having to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
don't work till like midday.
Once you go to sleep and wake up, you be good to go. But it's just that day you be like, man, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to get to day 10, bro.
yeah,
You know,
no.
them antibodies kick in. You know what I'm saying? Them T and B's get to boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. And killer T cells and everything get to working out for you.
Yeah. And what? I want to go jog and I want to do some push-ups.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
I just had a steroid shot. Nah.
Hey, so did you hear the new CDC thing? They said like when you get your second dose,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around you got the second dose. You don't have to.
That is normal. No mask. You just have a good time.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
put like vaccine parties in my city. Like you got to have your card to get into the party, but
That's
they
real.
start that now. You know.
And that's real. Hell yeah. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? That's what a lick at. Vaccine party.
Yeah.
I was one.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Everybody got to show their card at the
For
door.
your
Yeah. And have a good old fashioned house party. You know what I mean?
card.
Go
Hey,
back to 2018. You know what
Sutex said I'm a faint.
I mean?
Hey, but what you think about that story, man? Not only just the story, but the old dude that I read, because what most people are familiar with, like Yoruba culture,
Mhm.
and their deeper meanings and understanding, and just from a surface level, what you think about some of that stuff you heard?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a different perspective than what I'm usually hearing. You know what I'm
Okay, so let's talk about that because you a pseudo killer, right?
saying?
You a pseudo killer, and you're an anti-theist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from an anti-theist perspective, let's get that. Let's see what was you thinking, because you wasn't hearing no Bible verses. Even
No.
though I went to an Odu, I went to an Odu and read the Odu. You know what I mean? But it didn't give you this thing like that. Like it tried to tell a story to make it relatable.
Right. I see those. I like those. I like those kind of cultures because you have to when even though I'm an anti-theist, I still have to consider the time period. You know what I'm saying? And so for something in that time period, and the way they utilized it, I think it was a good tool for the time. You know what I'm saying?
I
I
agree.
think they got what they should have got out of it. you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, because the essence of it was the restoration of women. Like they belong. Like we gotta pay reverence to them.
and not only that, it seems progressive to me. You know, I like things that are progressive. So they don't. It doesn't seem like they were willing to stay stuck in the thought processes. You know what I'm saying? They always were willing to add on, seemingly to what their culture was. You know what I'm saying? And so I always like that. You know, being and the whole thing about the women is like a revolutionary thing or a progressive thing. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciated it. You know, I'm not I'm an anti-theist, but I can appreciate culture, and culture does bring to people, to society. Culture makes society. It makes it shapes your morals and all of that. So, you know, I'm not anti-culture. I'm just anti-theist. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No. Yep, that's what I would. What else, Samuel?
Sabio, what up?
What up, Sean? What up, Corey? Peace.
Peace.
No, I just wanted to say I appreciate what you just did, Sean, because it showed me some things about women, about African women that I have been, what's the word? That I have been wanting to highlight, but I didn't know how to highlight it. No, because I don't really know that much about African history like that. And that's not my field, so I don't want to jump into an area that I'm not real familiar with, you know? I mean, I'm fond of it, but I'm not real familiar with it. You know, my field is Black history and the things that I really stick around, you know? And that showed me something that I like. I talked about Queen Nzinga and a couple or other African queens that back when I was teaching the children at Mission St. Louis, I showed them the pictures of these queen kings that was running civilizations and things like that. And I'm just glad that you did that. You know, I appreciate stuff like that. It makes me want to do more research.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm not well versed in you know, African history and African culture, so I'm always interested to learn about that. You know what I'm saying? And it helps me on my journey to understand you know, just things that I don't understand. You know, it gives me a more of a tolerance when I learn different things. You know, it gives me a tolerance to engage things, you know, throughout life, period. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to say something, Sean, and I always forget to say it, but you be saying y'all, you know, I know the Masi, y'all say y'all do history, Black history over here, but man, y'all more anthropologists than historians to me. You know what I'm saying? What y'all doing is more anthropology to me. So I just wanted to put that out there, like, you know, start to focus more towards your anthropology thing, because you got that shit on lock, Sean. You know what I'm saying? You got that on lock. You know, it's not just about the history of certain people and groups of people, but it's about the cultures and what they do and the language and the traditions and what they deem sacred, and you know what's bad and what's good. Like all of that is anthropology. And that is more, that to me, that's more substantiable, I guess I don't know how to say that word.
I
But
guess
it's more than history. It gives me more than history. You know what I'm saying? To take home and to actually use, and you know what I'm saying? It satisfies me, you know.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. I think that's because, to be honest, it's dope that you say anthropologist, is because when you look at what anthropology is, it has so many different makeups that make the overall. You know what I mean? You got this title, and then you got these subgroups that form that one title. And I think that what our people don't understand is that those little subtitles make up the overall. So if you're familiar with each subtitle, that brings a proper context to your presentation, so to say, and
Yeah.
then you can kind of go from there. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. I was trying to look for something that I wanted to kind of uh, read to you regarding some of like the I don't even know if I want to call it that, but just the ideas of the Yoruba as far as their creation. When they go through certain things, man, they got like, they got a little play on the cosmos and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna read it to you like this. You tell me what you think. So, it says Yoruba view the cosmos as a dynamic interplay of such opposites as heaven and earth, day and night, masculine and feminine, physical and metaphysical, body and soul, inner and outer, hot and cold, hard and soft, left and right, life and death, success and failure, and so on. However, the Yoruba say that the great mystery of Olorun, or God in this instance, is unity. It says it is when Oru, the Ashe of God, passes into the physical realms and becomes Ile, which forms as Ashe ready to manifest, that polarities are created. It is in balancing these forces that harmony at the universal, society, and individual level is achieved. What you think about that when you hear that?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about as far as their culture and what you get out of it. See,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's more of a nature-based culture, and so and also I wanted to bring up the fact that you in this time, how long ago you think this was? 2,000-3,000 years or longer? You know what I mean?
Let's just no, not let's. We don't have to go that far back. We could just say let's within the last, let's say 600 to 800 years.
600 to 800 years. So you go back 600-800 years, and it gets dark outside.
Yep.
Thing to see is the stars in the cosmos. You know what I'm saying? And so, what you do is you observe that, and you kind of understand from a lookership, just from a surface based understanding of it. You see how things kind of work a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You may not know everything, and how you may not know what a nebula is, and all the rest. You know what I'm saying, but you see in nature and how nature interacts with one another, and you try to what you try to do is you try to implement that in the way you try to live in harmony kind of with nature. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing they trying to use nature as an example, and try to organize themselves within nature. You know what I'm saying? Not try to work against nature so much. And I think that's where their culture. I appreciate those types of cultures. You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
you try to use nature in a way, and you come up with these explanations that may not be scientifically sound today, but what they do is they help your culture progress in that time. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a surface understanding of how these things work. And 800, 1,000 years ago, like people had a good idea of how to get along, and how nature works. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. By
but
that time, yep.
yeah. So
The understanding of the natural world had to
can
be more harmonious than anything.
Right. And you can infer different things, like certain things you may not have a solid answer on, but you can infer from things you observe, and you can implement it in that way, or have that kind of explanation to how life should be, or how life is. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's what I hear when I hear those types of stories. You know what I'm saying? It's just giving it their best shot, and you got
Right.
to be appreciated. They are not just taking any answer. They're actually thinking about it, and that's always got to be appreciated, because without that kind of thought, there would be no scientific understanding in the way that we understand it today. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah, the way I look at y'all as like anthropologists, and historians. Why? Because y'all do a little bit of both, actually, to me. Y'all go so far back that y'all have to go into the anthropology sometimes in order to get to the truth. And that's one of the main reasons why I started listening to you. I like your method. I like the way y'all do things. I really do. Y'all break it down. Y'all make it palatable and easy to digest. Sometimes y'all can be wordy, but that happens, you know. But I appreciate it. Like I said,
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
strengthen me a lot.
And then Sean, too, the way y'all do things, y'all don't try to act like those traditions are how we are supposed to live today. What y'all doing is
You broke up, Core.
y'all giving those explanations in these presentations. It helps people like me actually appreciate it and
Right.
understand that this ain't just, everybody saying God did it. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
coming from an anti
Exactly.
point of view,
Exactly.
you know, you would say, oh, they just saying God. Questions. And they actually put real thought. You can see that they actually put real thought into it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And those was the best answer. Sean, believe it or not, without the tools that we have today, like
Right.
that, those answers would be some of the best answers that we have today. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't realize that, like those answers would be some of the best answers today. You know what I'm saying? To some of those big questions, because, we wouldn't have those tools, but now we got the tools. We can kind of elaborate more, and we can see that now we can see science is a little bit more counterintuitive depending on how deep you go. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I just appreciate it, the whole understanding, because it gives me a perspective to appreciate it too. You know what I mean? And somebody might say, well, that's hypocritical, Corey. You say you down Christianity and Islam and all of the rest of the, it's not that it's not just because it's an African culture. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. It's the actual way they use it. You know what I'm saying? The way it's implemented into in society, because anybody could use that and it would benefit their society. Like Christianity, everybody can't use that. You know what I'm saying? Like these different monotheistic religions, everybody wouldn't be able to use that in their society. Who wouldn't be able to use praising women and recognizing the importance of women and giving women certain statures and you know what I'm saying? And the women is above men on this level, but the men does this job. You know what I'm saying? Like those things are very valuable, and they could be used in any society. I mean, look at Christianity. I mean, the women's dirty over there. You know what I'm saying? It's not, women ain't good. They ain't supposed to be teaching, all
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I really appreciate those cultures that I mean, that's progressive. Whether I mean, you talking 800 years ago, like bigging up women and putting women in those types of positions and deifying women and all of that. That's a progressive mindset. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all I'm in. As long as you have a progressive mindset, that's what I'm all about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But thank you, Corey. I'm with you on that. That's what I push over there on my channel. Moving the mind forward.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
People get mad at me when I call myself an anti-theist, but they don't get mad at you. Why is that?
They get mad at me. They get mad at me. I've thought about it for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I did too. I did too. I went back and forth between being an atheist and an agnostic. I was like, I can't be an agnostic because I really don't see no need. I really don't see a God. Like I don't I don't need a belief in one. So you know what? I'm just going to forget it. I'm anti-theist.
Yeah,
Man,
Let them go.
it depends on which God you're talking about. Whether I'm a straight up anti-theist or agnostic. You know what I mean? So the guys that Sean is talking about, I wouldn't have any way to substantiate any claims. I couldn't falsify that. You know what I'm saying? So I have to say I was agnostic as far as those guys go. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain guys that you can prove false. You know, just by the description, just by the way they describe God, you know, you prove them false. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. So I'm agnostic to a certain extent because we had that discussion the other day. The thing is, all agnostics are atheists anyway. So I just when we had that discussion the other
in
day,
America, it's definitely you that.
yeah. And so I just thought that muddies the water by putting all these different labels, agnostic, with all
Right.
So
It does.
it does muddy the water to me. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't need to be. You know what I mean? Either you convinced or you're not. That's
Right.
how.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I was at one time, and the more I researched, the more I listened, the more video, the more things I've read. I tell you, I'm no longer convinced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I don't have a problem with culture. I just have a problem when the culture does not allow you to progress. That's when it does harm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. Because when it keep you stuck and you ain't got no other way to go, man. That's a whole issue, man. That's a
That's
whole.
my problem with them right there. They keep you
And
stuck.
they didn't say their God had written something and you can't change it a jot or a tittle. You know what I mean? Nobody lives like that. I don't think that is even a part of any. I don't know, Sean, you can correct me, but I don't think that is a part of any African culture. I have yet to see that in the African
Yeah,
culture.
I've had to. Me too.
There's because in the traditions they actually don't have what they call missionaries. So they're not trying to sell you on something. It's brought up. It's actually what even make it more is the fact that the identity of it all is that it's in their actions. It's in everything that they actually do. This is
Right.
this is something that you know that isn't questionable. I'm finna shoot for this $3,500 for a bulldog, yo.
Mm.
For a bulldog.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm about to see.
I was going further into my DNA, right? Because I got my DNA results back, and I was looking at the uh, other, to they was trying to put me in the Middle East as hard as they can, back migration. Well, it says right here, Northern India, Pakistani, 0.0%, Central Asian, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, 0.0%. Bangladesh, India, Nepal, 0.0%. So all you Turkish wannabes, keep that away from me. I don't have no DNA from that way. Southern India, Sri Lanka, India, 0.0%. India, Pakistan, 0.0%. Malay, Southern India, Sri Lanka, 0.0%. Chinese, mainland China, Taiwan, 0.0%.
Xavier was on this DNA kick out. Just want to let y'all know that.
Y'all keep that away from me. Y'all keep that Asian. I have no Asian in my DNA. Siberian, 0.0. All of it. All. Just keep it away.
So that dog's
Don't bring that to me.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, man, that's it on that note, man. I'm gonna end this one. I think we're gonna be back on Kofi later. And we're just gonna have like a little open mic build, man, and we're just gonna get it in. So I appreciate Corey Concrete pulling up, Sabio for pulling up, man, and everybody in the chat. Remember to like the show, share the show. All y'all ladies, y'all can share this with your daughters, your mothers.
Zero King Sosa. My bad, Sean.
your sisters and all that. Nah, we gonna get in. We can get in on that. We're gonna have an open build and get into that, man. And
For sure.
y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, man. Peace out.
Appreciate it, Sean. Peace, man.
Peace, y'all.
Log in to KofiPaisaTV.com and get Spears of the Mossy Volume 1 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Harret Shun Calfunny, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisa, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Harret Shun Calfunny, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Paisa. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on Kofi Paisa TV.